everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, welcome. We'd love if you would subscribe if you like this video. Today we're going to be sharing our eyeshadow palette collection with you. So for this video, we're going to go through our whole eyeshadow palette collection and we're going to tell you which ones we recommend that you buy, which ones you might want to steer clear from, and it's going to be like a really quick review for each one because we have reviewed some of these individually before. First up is our all-time favorite palette. It's new to both of our collections. It's the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. There's like not much to say about this because everyone and their mom has talked about it, but it's so
I don't know where my brush went.
Yeah, mine's in here.
Bummer.
But it's just the most beautiful palette. It's highly recommend. I mean, you can't even say enough things. It's basically perfect. Everything you need is in this palette.
I'm wearing it on my eyes today.
Next up is the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette. We just put this in a favorites video. We love it so much. It's honestly like the best matte palette ever because it has all these gorgeous brown warm tone shades and they blend really beautifully, super soft, very pigmented, and it's nice and sleek and compact for traveling as well. Yeah, I'm wearing it today and this is kind of how we justified buying it, and I kind of feel like everyone should think of it like this. You obviously will probably have these colors in like singles or in other palettes, but the fact that there's only 5 shades and it's so tiny, it's just like so perfect for traveling or just like an everyday eyeshadow palette that you can just keep on top of your vanity to use on a daily basis. So that's kind of how we justified buying it, and I'm so happy we did.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You guys have probably heard us talk about this palette multiple times. This is the Tartelette in Bloom palette by Tarte. Obviously, it's so well loved. Like, mine's super dirty, but these shades are just so beautiful. You have warm tones, cool tones, shimmers, mattes. The mattes are better than the shimmers in our opinion. It smells like chocolate. You get this amazing mirror. Like, you can create so many different looks with this, and this is definitely probably our second all-time favorite palette for sure. Recommend. Okay, next up is a cult favorite. It's the Morphe 350 palette. And this may come as a shocker, but we're gonna say we don't recommend purchasing it. I don't think it's overrated in the quality sense. I think they are good quality eyeshadows. Obviously the colors are stunning, but because there's so many colors, it's not like everyone in this is amazing quality or an amazing color that will look good on everyone. Like, some are just way too cool toned and they look muddy. Like, I don't know. It's too big. That's why we wouldn't recommend it.
And now Morphe's making their palettes with the mattes on one side and the shimmers on another, which makes so much more sense because if you just want to use the mattes, you can. If you just want to do a shimmer all over the lid, you can. It's very easy to do those looks from the two different sides. These are just all mixed together, and there's not even like a rhyme or reason to how they are in the palette, really. Like, some palettes, you know, will have like a row across to use in one eye look. This is not like that. It's just all over the place. So I find it very overwhelming to use. I've never even used all these shades. A lot of them are too similar for me. So it's a good palette for the price for sure, and the shades are beautiful. It's just too much.
Yeah, it's too much for us. It literally sits in my drawer. I don't think I've used it in a year because it's too big. I just don't pull it out on a daily basis. Next up is the Chloe Morello x Ciate Pretty Fun and Fearless palette. The packaging's kind of a little bit much, honestly. It's not the best packaging.
Yeah, not the print, but I like the cardboard.
I like the cardboard too. And this is just a really good palette. You have like really beautiful warm toned brown matte shades. You have like these purple shades, and you can do so many eye looks with this because you do have like a matte cream, you do have good transition shades, and the shimmers are really beautiful too. And it's just different. I think you can't really find a palette that has brown and purple tones in it, and the quality's there. So I think that we would definitely recommend this, especially for green eyes. We have green eyes and all of these colors complement them really well.
Yeah, and they blend really nicely.
Next is the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible palette. This is the original, not the new one that they like extended the palette. I'm gonna say I don't recommend this. The highlighters are absolutely phenomenal.
They're beautiful.
Like, here, let me just swatch this one because it's just like, it's so pretty. It's amazing. It's so good, and the price of this eyeshadow palette is, I don't know, I think it's like $15. Yeah, it's really affordable. I just found myself not really using the eyeshadows. I mean, there's like only 3 mattes and then the rest are shimmers, so it's like, what can you really do with that? I feel like a lot of the colors just look the same, especially when blended on the eyes, so that's why I wouldn't recommend it. I think the highlighters are amazing, but the eyeshadows just didn't blow me away.
I do recommend it because of the highlighters. I feel like they are such good quality for $15. Even if you just use the highlighters, it's worth it in my opinion. And I do really like, I agree there should be more matte shades, but the shimmers are really good quality, so it is kind of annoying that you don't have the perfect shadows to create like a really good neutral eye look, but the highlighters themselves are just stunning. Next up is the Morphe x Kathleen Lights palette. We've raved about this on our channel so many times. It's the best Morphe palette. Probably will be the best Morphe palette ever.
It's the best.
It's so good. It's smaller than their bigger palettes, so I feel like it's easier to concentrate on the colors you want to use and really pick out the ones that you want to use in one eye look. You have these really gorgeous purple shades that are so beautiful. I never really wear purple eyeshadow except for when I'm using this palette because they're just so beautiful and like plum and bold. And the mattes and the shimmers are way better quality than all their other palettes, I would say. It's the best.
Yeah, I mean, we highly recommend it. I mean, it's not available anymore, which...
Oh, it isn't?
No, I don't think they sell it anymore, so sorry if you can't get it, but if you do have it, I hope you agree with us that you just love this palette, because I think it's amazing. So we did a whole video on these. These are the Morphe 25B and 25A palettes. In that video, we told you we don't really recommend these. I honestly regret the purchase. Looking at this, you're like, oh my god, those colors are stunning. But in the video, we go on and on about what we don't really like and what we did like about it.
We do like this new packaging that they
do. Like the new packaging. I still personally think it's a little too big. A lot of the matte shades look identical to each other.
Yeah.
Like you would cut these in half and I would like them a lot more. I know, and they just weren't that good of quality. The shimmers are really good, but I don't buy a palette just for the shimmers, so not a recommendation here.
Next up is the JCat Beauty Sunset Boulevard palette. We just did a whole video on this as well, so we won't go too in depth. I personally really love this because the quality is so good. Like the mattes are so pigmented, blend really well. The shimmers aren't too glittery, they're super metallic, and the shades are just so beautiful and unique. Like I've never seen a palette like this with such warm like caramel tones and plums and purples. It's super unique.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend it too, even though I don't use it that much because of the size. Just the packaging is
I honestly just cracked it trying to open it. It's super hard to open. So the packaging is super cheap, but I still think it's worth it because I think this is $15 or $20.
Yeah,
I want to say.
Beautiful colors.
And great quality for the price. Next up is the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. I bought this when it was on sale for $27 because it was like half off, so it was a good deal. And I did use it a couple times. I do like it, but to me, the Urban Decay palettes, just the quality is not there like in Anastasia.
Besides their new Naked Heat palette, because I work for a beauty company and we had it there and I swatched it and it's beautiful.
Yeah, so these are good like palettes and shadows, but they're not great, so I think that's why I don't reach for it as often. But I do really like these. Actually, the 2 times I did use it, I used like this region, the blue, because I don't have any other blue shadows. And the packaging, of course, is stunning, really good quality, but I don't think I'd recommend this because you won't get that much use out of it if you're like us and do more natural makeup.
This is the Pixie times It's Duty Time palette. It's the Eyes Time, get the look, it's Eyes Time palette. And honestly, when I heard about this, I was like, oh my god, those colors are so beautiful. But I don't know. I have mixed feelings because I think the quality's there, but again, like I just have so many of these shades in better quality eyeshadows. Like Britta said, we really love Anastasia eyeshadows, and I just have so many that are similar to this, and I like them more. So I just found myself not really using it, and even though I like the colors, I don't love them. Like it's just a little boring to me, but it's a good palette. I just never really use it, so if I don't get use out of it, I can't really recommend it, but it's not bad. Next up are the CoverGirl True Naked palettes. I have Goldens and Roses, and I don't reach for these as often as I did when I first got them, but I was going through my palette drawer and I was like, oh, these are actually really good palettes from the drugstore. I should have used them more often. I do love the shade selection. I don't personally really love palettes that are set up this way with like the long wells. I like the circle ones, but that's just a side note. But the quality's really good. You have a nice mix of mattes and shimmers, and I will say the mattes have like a slight sheen to them, so they look really nice on the eye, and I think it helps them blend really well. And I do use the Roses one more than the Goldens, and only because I have so many palettes that look like this with like neutral tones, and I don't have any that look like this, but they're really good quality, and for $10 at the drugstore, like if you're looking for an affordable palette, try these ones, they're good. Next up is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. This is our only Too Faced palette.
I have the Sweet Peach.
Oh, okay, never mind. This isn't the only Too Faced palette, but I don't know, we would not recommend this. I just think the color selection isn't the best. It's very like cool toned, less warm toned than their other palettes. There's like these two bright 3 pinks in here. We don't really wear pink eyeshadow. And I don't know, it's just very underwhelming. Yeah. And I don't think the quality is like superb, so would not recommend this one.
Next up is another Too Faced palette. This is the Sweet Peach palette. This one, honestly, we weren't gonna buy for the longest time because we're like, oh, it looks very like pinky. Oh, the smell, I can't with the smell. It smells so strong. But it seemed very like pinky and we didn't think we would use it, but I honestly love this palette and the quality is pretty darn good. Like these shades down here are absolutely gorgeous. Like this Summer Yum shade is stunning, and obviously there are pink shades like Just Peachy and Candy Peach, and I will never use those.
But they're more peach. Like this one is definitely a peach, and I think peach is more universally flattering than pink.
Yeah, exactly. But like these 2 bronze shades, love this like banana cream shade, I love, and all these dark shades I love. And it's nice there's a random green shade.
And I would say it's the best quality for Too Faced that we've tried.
For sure. And so yeah, I like this a lot more than I thought, and I used it a lot more than I expected to. So recommend this for sure.
Next, okay, sorry, this is so dirty, but if you have the ColourPop palettes, you know how disgusting they can get. Oh god. But this is the, oh my god, what is it? The
It doesn't have the name.
No, it doesn't have the name, but it's the Sonia Espen times ColourPop collab palette. I forgot the name of the palette, but we'll write it down below. I love this though. We talked about how much we love ColourPop pressed shadows on our channel before, and the shades in this are absolutely stunning. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head besides Moscow Sunrise, but honestly, I think any day I use this palette to do a look, I usually just buff this one in my crease, this one on my lid, and maybe this into my crease. I haven't really used this one much yet, but it's absolutely stunning. I just love how it looks on my eyes. I think it's so natural and pretty, and there's like a mix of satin and shimmers and mattes. So you're getting 3 different finishes. It's awesome. I highly recommend, especially for the price. I think they're only $18.
Their palettes, their single pans are really good too.
So good. This palette is awesome.
Next up is the Lorac Pro 3 palette. First of all, I love the packaging of these palettes. They are like paper thin. So it's so nice for traveling. It's cardboard, so it's pretty sturdy. I don't know. I really love this packaging. And this is just like unlike any other palette I have, and that's why I purchased it. These are really nice. I will say, I think it's a little overhyped. Like, so many people love Lorac shadows, and I will say they're super like smooth and blend really nicely, but there's so much kickback, which usually doesn't bother me, but these wells are a little bit smaller than in other palettes, so I feel like it gets even messier, if that makes sense. And I do use it, I do like it, I just don't like it as much as other palettes. So I probably would say I wouldn't recommend this one compared to all the rest of the palettes I have, but it is a good palette.
Next is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. Seriously, top 3 or top 4 favorite eyeshadow palettes for me. Again, I love the cardboard packaging because just traveling, I feel like it's sturdy. I don't know. Something about it is just very sturdy. The colors in here are just beautiful. They blend just as good as Anastasia shadows, if not better. And I just feel like I traveled before with really only bringing this palette, and you can just do so many looks. There are no shimmers, but I'm not really a shimmer eyeshadow person. It has a mirror, and yeah, the colors are just phenomenal. I can't recommend this palette enough. I think it's totally worth the money. I waited forever to buy it, and then I regretted not buying it sooner, so I love it.
And we did a dupe video on that palette and the Makeup Revolution Ultra Eye Contour Light and Shade palette. And we did find that this one is pretty good for the price. Not as good, obviously, but it's a pretty good dupe.
It is.
And so yeah, I would say we recommend this one as well if you're on a budget, for sure.
Next is the e.l.f. Matte for Matte 1 palette. Okay, so looking at this, I thought I was gonna love this. This is like my perfect shade selection, and Kathleen Lights raved about it, and I usually trust her opinion. But I only used it like 3 times maybe, and I didn't think the quality was really there.
Yeah,
as much
it's
as
not that good.
As much as everyone was like, oh, this is the best drugstore eyeshadow palette I've ever used, I thought it wasn't as pigmented as it needed to be, and it didn't blend as well as it needed to be. So this is a hard pass for me. I would not buy it.
I recently got the Matte for Matte 2 palette, and I like it a lot more. I think the quality's better. The shades are better in my opinion. I love that it has a white cream shade and a matte black. Well, obviously they're all matte.
which really helps to create different eye looks. And it's just like these shades are so much prettier, I would say, and just more usable for different eye colors. Like this one that's so cool tone and dark that like you have to do a pretty smoky eye to make it work, I would say.
Well, I don't know about that, but those colors are just more pigmented and better.
So I have 4 more eyeshadow palettes than Carly, so I'm just gonna go through them really quickly. The first one is this BH Cosmetics Marble Collection Warm Stone, and obviously the packaging like caught my attention. It's super cute and pretty sturdy for the price. It has this really nice large mirror and these really pretty warm tone shades. The quality is good. I wouldn't say it's great, but I do really like this palette just because you have like this gorgeous like plum shade and this kind of like pinky nude matte. Like there are some really unique shades, like this orange. This is pretty orange, and I haven't seen this in another palette, so I do keep this around because of the uniqueness of it, and obviously I love the packaging. So I would say this is a recommendation as far as BH goes. I think it's one of their better products. Next up is the Tarteist Pro To Go palette, and I've raved about this before in a favorites video. It's so small, it's like the size of a playing cards, honestly, but it's so good for traveling. I love this palette. I did a tutorial using this palette. I used all 6 shades to do one eye look, and I really like how it turned out, so I'll link that down below. But totally recommend this. Super good quality, just as Tarte shadows usually are. Really stunning shades, and they look really amazing together, and it's small, good for traveling. Next up is the Morphe 12MB palette. I definitely prefer this palette to the 350 or any of the larger palettes because it's smaller. There are only 12 shades, which makes it super easy to create an eye look on the go. You still have really gorgeous warm tone shades, a good mix of matte and shimmers. Like we think that the best Morphe palette is the Kathleen Lights. So this pigmentation and quality isn't as good as that palette, but it is less expensive, and I think this is the best one aside from that one just because it's smaller. I like that it's more compact. And last but not least is the Smashbox Cover Shop palette in a Blaze. This is another small palette, so it's good for traveling. Really cool packaging. I've raved about this before as well. This is really beautiful, very pretty warm tone shades. You have like this really nice purple. I think I gravitate towards palettes that are very warm toned and then like have some purples in them because I think they're really good for green eyes and they're just so beautiful. There's a good mix of mattes and shimmers, and it is small obviously, but the quality's there. I've tried other Smashbox palettes and I think this one is a lot better quality than those, so I definitely recommend this one. You can even keep it in your purse, like because it's so small, which is nice. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to see more of these collection type videos, let us know in the comments below.